Well, thank you, Maya. Your help is always so valued. So, my name is Phil Bluestein, and I'm one of the organizers for WTM. That's called Wellness Through Mindfulness. That is organizing this presentation tonight. We created this back in 2015. There was a group of us who came together and wanted to freely offer teachings on mindfulness and related topics. Historically, we would meet at the Shaganappi Community Hall in person, but with the advent of COVID, all of that has changed. We were very fortunate to pair with the Calgary Public Library, and so we do Zoom video presentations the first and third Thursday of every month. We're very fortunate to have had Patrick Mealy from the library who offered us this opportunity to join them in these presentations, and Maya Melavec, who's been so helpful in supporting us in these presentations. We have a website called www.thebreathproject.org, and on it are animated videos, interviews with experienced mindfulness teachers. We also have the website WTM.thebreathproject.org, which is the website for the WTM. And on that, you will find multiple videos of previous talks, mindful musings, and helpful resources. And I would suggest that if you have not signed up on the WTM, it can be very helpful to get our email of upcoming events so you will know what is coming and what you would like to join. When we have our Q&A, just to bear in mind that the question and answer period is intended for questions specific to the talk or mindfulness related issues. This is a presentation for general educational purposes and is not designed to address personal issues that you may be dealing with. On June 2nd, Linda Carlson is going to be presenting Life-Threatening Illness as a Catalyst to Live Your Best Life. Linda is an international researcher who works at the Tom Baker Center and looks at mindfulness and cancer. And the presentation is not just specific to cancer, but will really be a way to address all major stressful events that we deal with and how mindfulness can be helpful. And on June 16th, Karim Dharamsi will present a brief historical account of mindfulness. Karim is a wonderful academic and scholar who understands mindfulness and its history, and by looking at where mindfulness has originated, it can be very helpful for us to practice mindfulness today. On June 4th, we have a very special event. It is a half-day Zoom retreat presented by the WTM. It's called Burning Bright versus Burning Out. It's going to be presented by myself, Christine Francoeur, Leslie Ellistad, and Alan Donsky. And if you've come to the WTM, you will note that all of these presenters have presented regularly at the WTM. It's going to be an opportunity to look at some of the essence, the essential part of mindfulness and how you can apply it to your practice. So please consider joining us for that half-day presentation, and you can sign up through the WTM website. So, tonight's presentation, Transforming Emotional and Physical Pain with Qigong. So, Qigong is a powerful and ancient form of meditation exercises that helps you create an internal environment of peace and healing. Spring Forest Qigong uses the elements of energy, breathing, visualization, moving meditation, and sound to help transform energy blockages and balance your energy. And with balanced energy, you will experience health, peak performance, and inner peace. We're very lucky to have Munira Jiwa present tonight. We have a history with Munira, who very kindly has presented at the WTM in the past. And it's always been a delight and always a wonderful learning opportunity. In a previous life, Munira was a physical therapist. However, she experienced to use her words, complete transformation from chronic pain and other health issues when she discovered Spring Forest Qigong in 2006. She is a very talented teacher. She offers weekly online and in-person classes, private coaching, and teaches Qigong to various organizations. Her website is listed in the chat. And so with that, I will hand the evening over to Munira, and I know it will be an exceptional presentation. Thank you, Munira.
Thank you so much, Phil. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be able to present with WTM, and really, I really feel my mission and my purpose in life is to spread the Qi joy. So I want as many people to be able to experience this beautiful, simple, powerful healing practice. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I have been practicing Spring Forest Qigong for over 15 years. And as Phil mentioned, in my previous life, I was a physical therapist. I was suffering from chronic neck and back issues for many years. And I was just finding that Western therapies weren't really helping me with long-term relief of my symptoms. And it wasn't until I experienced the simple practice of Spring Forest Qigong that, like Phil said, I experienced a complete transformation of pain, of the pain that I had been suffering from. So I had ordered an online, just a home study course, and I was just following this video of Master Lin, who is the creator and founder of Spring Forest Qigong, following him do the exercises. They looked very simple, and I didn't understand much about energy, but I did them because at that point in my life, I was desperate. I had so much pain. I had a lot of other health ailments. I had stomach and digestive issues. I'd been suffering from depression, and I just found that when I would do these exercises, and it was just for about a half an hour a day, I started to feel this sense of calmness, a sense of quietness, and I just felt that the race of the world and all the mental chatter that was going on in my head, that started to subside. So Qigong really helped me to tap in and go into this place of stillness and really be present in the moment. Now, to give you a little history of Qigong, I'm going to be sharing a slideshow with you just to give you a bit of a foundation. But today, I want this to be an experiential practice so that you can experience what this practice has to offer. Many of you may have heard of Qigong, you may have read of the benefits of Qigong, but until you actually experience the practice, you really don't know. It's like trying to explain what an exotic fruit tastes like to someone who has never tasted that fruit before. So that's my purpose today, is to have you experience the practice, and then I'm happy to answer any questions later. So just to start off with here, I'm just going to share screen. And as we move through here, I'll be also coming off of the share screen so we can practice some tidbits of the actual practice. So to start off with, what is Qigong? When you look at the word Qigong, you can break it up into two parts. Qi. Qi is energy, but it's not just regular energy. It's energy with intelligence or life force. And Gong is to work. So we are working with this life force energy to help create a healthy and balanced body, mind, and spirit. Now, there are many different styles of Qigong. There's thousands of styles, and they're all good. This style of Qigong that I'm sharing is called Spring Forest Qigong. It was developed by Master Chunyi Lin. And he created Spring Forest Qigong so that it is accessible to everyone. It's very simple, and anyone can practice it regardless of their age or ability. And there's a lot of flexibility in how you do the practice. And the purpose here when we're practicing Qigong is to help you awaken your body's natural intelligence for self-healing. We all have this ability within us to help ourselves and to help others to heal. So Qigong is going to help you activate what you already have within you. There are 4 components to our Qigong practice. So the use of the breath, there's the mind and visualization. There's some very simple and postures, movements that I'm going to be guiding you through today. And then there's also the element of sound. Now we have to start at the fundamental part here, that everything is energy. So everything in the universe is comprised of the dynamic relationships of energy. And it was Einstein who said that energy cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, but it can be transformed. So what we're doing in our Qigong practice is we're helping to transform the energy and allow the energy to flow well in our body. So we want to balance. It's all about balancing the yin and the yang energies. Everything is comprised of yin and yang. So these are polar opposites, but yin and yang are always seeking balance within each other. When you're not feeling well, it's because your energy is not flowing well. Another way to just explain that, I like to say, when you're looking at a river system, our energy flows in our body, just like how water flows in a river system, and it's meant to flow smoothly and harmoniously. However, if you think of that river system, if all of a sudden a boulder was to fall down from the mountain and create a blockage in that river system, it creates a dam effect, right? So the water's not going to be able to flow. It's the water flow is being impeded by that boulder. And it's causing flooding upstream, drought downstream. But if you physically remove that boulder, what happens to that state of flow of that river? It goes back to its natural state. It's just like that in our body. We have these energy channels, energy meridians, and our energy is meant to flow well. Our natural state of being actually is that of wellness. If you're not feeling well, your energy is not flowing well. And that means there are qi blockages, so energy blockages in our system. And in Chinese medicine, where Qigong is one of the pillars of traditional Chinese medicine, the belief is that when you're experiencing any symptoms, whether it be a headache, depression, a tumor, any type of pain, it's because the energy is not flowing well in your body. But the beauty is we can transform those qi blockages with this practice. We're going to start off with the first part. A simple but powerful way to help you transform qi blockages is through breathing. But we're going to learn a specific technique today, energy breathing. So breathing is a fundamental aspect of Qigong. And what we're doing in our practice is we start to slow everything down. That way we are also slowing our breath, and we're taking in deep and gentle breaths. What that does is it helps to increase that oxygen intake, enhances metabolism, increases the oxygenation in the tissues, and soothes the nervous system. So there are so many benefits. We all know and have heard about the benefits of taking in deep breaths. But now we're going to add in also another element to this breathing. There's an interesting correlation when you look at longevity and breathing rate. So when you look at dogs and their average breathing rate, they have quite a rapid rate of breathing, and so about 27 breaths per minute, and they can be found to live 10 to 15 years. If you look at a tortoise though, they only take a couple of breaths per minute, and you can find them to live much more than even 100 years. As humans, we tend to take an average 12 to 18 breaths. I think it's actually higher than that, especially when you're anxious or when you're in pain. We tend to have a higher rate of breathing, and that means we're using our upper chests more. It's more apical breathing, and in order to get the best gas exchange, actually we need to bring our awareness down to our lower parts of our lungs to take in deeper breaths. So we are actually going to learn how we can learn how to optimize our breath through breathing in slowly and deeply. And thereby you're reducing our breathing rate. In my classes, people will easily, when we start to practice together, we can all go down to 6 to 10 breaths per minute. And when you sustain that for at least 15, 20 minutes, the health benefits of that alone are phenomenal. So there's been a lot of medical research that shows that people that tend to take fewer breaths per minute are on the whole healthier than those who breathe more rapidly. When I practiced as a physical therapist, I remember teaching a lot of post-operative patients, how to breathe better after surgery. So what you find is that when you're in pain or when you are stressed or emotional, again, you tend to splint. You tend to just hold yourself tight and you breathe more rapidly. And we wanted to help people, especially post-operative, to understand that it's really important to take those deep breaths so that you can fully expand the lungs and oxygenate the tissues. It's a very important part of healing. So what we're going to learn today is energy breathing. So I just wanted to give you this visual before we practice this ourselves. So with energy breathing, we are inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And as we do that, we're visualizing, imagining. We're connected to the universe. We are all connected to the universe. We're all one. We're going to visualize this energy, which is very nourishing and supportive. And as we inhale, we're going to breathe in and imagine that energy is coming in. And we collect it in an area behind our belly button called the lower dantian. When we exhale, we are transforming. Visualizing we're releasing any chi blockages, so any pain, any sickness, any anxiety, whatever it is that you're labeling it, it's just any chi blockages is extra energy. We release it back to the ends of the universe. So inhaling this energy, collecting it into our lower dantian. When we exhale, we are releasing, transforming any extra energy in our body into beautiful light or into butterflies, which leave our body and goes back to the ends of the universe. So we're going to do a demonstration of this. So let me stop share for a moment. And before we start, what I'd like you to do is just to take a moment to just notice the temperature of your skin. Have a look at your hands. Just notice the color in the hands, the temperature. Is it cool? Is it warm? And then you can look at yourself and see your eyes and your face in your screen. But what I'd like you to do now is just to take a moment, close your eyes. You can do this sitting or standing. Roll the shoulders back and down. You can have a gentle smile, an inner smile on your face. It's like a Mona Lisa smile. Just by doing that inner smile, you actually help to release endorphins, helping you to relax your body even further. Noticing your breath as you breathe in and out through the nose. You're not trying to change or control anything, just noticing in this moment. And now I'd like you to bring your awareness to that area deep behind your belly button. So behind your navel, you're going to visualize there's a beautiful light shining in your lower dantian. So dantian is a Chinese word meaning energy center. This is your vitality center. Visualizing a soft light shining in your lower dantian. So now let's enhance this breathing technique. Visualizing that not only are you breathing in and out through your nose, but you are using your entire body to breathe. You're breathing through your skin, connecting with this nourishing energy from the universe, inhaling this energy through every pore of your skin, collecting it into your lower dantian. With each exhale, you release, transforming any pain or sickness, any stress or worries, transforming this extra energy into beautiful light which shoots out of your body and goes back to the ends of the universe. Breathing in through your skin, collecting that healing and nourishing energy into your lower dantian. With each exhale, you are releasing and transforming any excess energy in your body into that beautiful light, which leaves your body and goes back to the ends of the universe. Deep and gentle breath in. As you exhale, feel your shoulders are sinking down to the ground. As you notice your physical body, you notice your heart, your mind, and your spirit are all right here with you. Feel the connection. Feel the oneness. Now we'll slowly come out of this breathing meditation. Gently opening your eyes. You can rub your hands together and massage your face. Going up the bridge of your nose, across your forehead, down the sides of your cheeks. So this helps to bring you out to the meditation. So we didn't spend a lot of time, that was just a few minutes, but I'd like you to notice now, how are you feeling? Just after a few minutes of energy breathing. Take a look at your hands. Do you notice a difference in the temperature, in the color? Are you noticing anything internally? You can put in the chat, what are you noticing before and after? Are you noticing anything at all? So this energy breathing technique actually is very powerful. It's a simple technique, but you can be using this anytime throughout your day. When I was first starting the practice, my children were very young. They were 4 or 5 years old, and I used to have to drive them around, and I used to get really stressed out. I was a stressed out mother. So I incorporated this energy breathing technique when I was driving. So anytime I was at a red light or a stop sign, or I was waiting in line somewhere, that was an opportunity to incorporate energy breathing. And it's amazing how just after a few minutes, how it just calms everything down. It really helps you to move out of the sympathetic part of the nervous system to the parasympathetic part, which is that rest and healing part of the nervous system. So I highly encourage you to start incorporating this. This will really also help you with sleep. So help you to get to sleep faster and to stay asleep. So we've all heard how powerful breath is and breathing well. So we can incorporate the energy breathing where you are bringing in the visualization of you're using your entire body to breathe. So breathing through your skin, collecting that energy into your lower dantian. With each exhale, you're just letting go and you're transforming. You can use your visualization, transform that extra energy into light, into butterflies, or whatever visualization works for you. So that energy breathing is the first component of the practice. And we're going to incorporate it, so you can do it by itself, or we can also incorporate it with the movements. So I'm just going to move back into shared screen. And I like the visual. It's kind of, sometimes if you're not a visual person, it's good to see a visual of this energy breathing. So this is Master Lin kind of demonstrating, just visualizing that beautiful light from the universe coming in through our skin, collecting into the area deep behind the belly button, the lower dantian, exhaling and releasing. Now, the next part of our practice is the use of the mind and visualization. Our minds are a very powerful director of energy, and wherever your mind goes, energy flows. And we always have a choice as to how we think and how we feel. How you think affects how you feel, and how you feel affects how your energy flows. So throughout the practice, I'll be guiding you to visualize that light behind your in your lower dantian, behind your navel, or I might ask you to visualize a column of light. And the purpose of that is when we're adding in that visual, it's helping with the healing and directing of energy. And if you can't see the light, that's okay. You just say so in your mind. You can direct the energy with your mind. An interesting thing to note also about the mind, the body cannot make the mind sick, but the mind can make the body sick. So with your thoughts, everything is energy. So starting to learn about how you're thinking, and are your thoughts helping or are they hindering your energy flow? So this just shows another diagram, just showing you when we talk about that dantian, that energy center, the lower dantian, which is the most important center when we first start off, as we are wanting to build up the foundation in that area deep behind your belly button. Remember that wherever your mind goes, energy flows. So even the minute you start to think of your lower dantian, or you think of your belly button, and you start breathing there, you'll automatically start to take in fuller, deeper breaths. And you're then thereby reducing your breathing rate. Now, the next part, which is the postures and the movement. This is the fun part. I know everyone's here to learn what are these postures and what are these movements. But within each of these postures and movements, they are helping to direct the energy flow in the body. So we have all these energy channels or meridians in our body, and energy flows through them. And what we do when we're practicing Qigong is we're helping to transform those Qi blockages and bring the body back into balance. So everything in the end is about balancing the yin and yang, balancing our energy. When our energy is balanced, that's when you experience, again, your optimal health, you experience that peace within. So these are just a few diagrams here. Again, if you can't see that light, you can just imagine that a ball of light. And I'm going to just guide you through some of these movements and put this into a practice, a moving meditation practice, which you can do sitting or standing. And again, the purpose, each of these postures, each of these movements have a purpose to help redirect the energy flow in a more positive way. And with these active exercises, so we call this moving meditation, these active exercises, the purpose is to help us strengthen our physical energy. It helps to open up all the energy channels in the body, helps bring our yin and yang energies back into balance, and to transform those energy blockages or those Qi blockages. Also helps to develop our spiritual energy so that we can heal ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually at the same time. So the healing that happens, so that's the focus. The Spring Forest Qigong is a style and a type of medical Qigong, so with the purpose of healing. But the healing doesn't just happen at a physical level. It also helps us mentally, it happens spiritually and emotionally as well. And the cause of energy blockages, the number one cause, unbalanced emotions. So I'm just going to share with you, my story a little bit when I come off of shared screen. But as I mentioned before, I was quite an anxious young mom, and I had a lot of stress, but I was also suffering from depression. So that absolutely contributed to what I was experiencing. I didn't know that at the time. But when you start to transform Qi blockages, you activate that intelligence within your body, and it helps to release all these unbalanced emotions and helps your body to get back into balance. So without me even thinking about it, this was happening on its own accord. The other things that cause energy blockages are nutrition, so your diet, what you put into your fuel. Just think about the energy that's associated with what you bring in. Weather and seasons also contribute to Qi blockages. Your environment, what we sometimes call feng shui, wrong medications, and injuries. Physical injuries are also going to impede the flow of energy in your body. So when we do our practice today, some things that you may experience, you might experience a lot of tingling within your body, in your hands, in different parts of the body. You might feel some itchy sensations. A lot of people experience a lot of heat. So with the transformation of Qi blockages, I remember when I first started, I would feel like my whole back would be drenched in sweat. And the practice actually it's very simple and gentle, but it's all about the transformation of energy. So if that happens, not to worry, it's just part of the process of your body trying to get back into balance. Some people get emotional, so you might find, tears start to flow out of your eyes, or your nose starts to drip. Again, these are good things. It's all about the balancing of energy. You may feel a breeze as you're practicing. Some people are visual, they see colors or images, and some people may even smell something sweet. So if any of these things happen, not to worry, these are all good signs. And if nothing happens, if you're not experiencing anything, it's still good as well. So Master Lin has this great saying, when you believe it, it works. When you don't believe it, it still works. So everything is energy. So we're going to go now into the actual practice of our Qigong, and we're going to start off with some warm-up exercises. I'll guide you through the movement practice, and then we're going to end with some harvesting of Qi, which is how we bring ourselves out of the meditation. All right, so the harvesting of Qi are the ending exercises to help adjust the energy in the body and to balance the energy even more quickly. All right, and when to practice? You can practice anytime during the day. Best times are early morning or early evening. And another thing to take note is best is if you practice, it's just like when you meditate, it's best to meditate not on a full stomach and trying not to eat any or drink anything cold right after the practice as well. There's no right or wrong way to do this practice. There's only good, better, and best. So I'm going to stop share here and go into the fun part of having you experience the practice. So as I mentioned, this is all about healing ourselves, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. My chronic pain is no longer here, and with it also my energy levels soared. And I still continue to practice because, we can have energy blockages that develop on a regular basis. And when it becomes a big energy blockage, then you start to notice big symptoms. So for me, it's usually a sign if something is off. I start to feel the beginnings of a sore throat, or that's usually the sign for me to take a look, to pause, and to reset myself, to reset my energy. So some of the other things that I noticed when I first started to practice is not only did it help me completely alleviate my symptoms of the pain that I was having, but it also helped me. I used to have chronic bronchitis. So twice a year I would get bronchitis. After about a year of practicing, I noticed that cleared. So I was no longer getting bronchitis. My stomach ailments, that all started to subside. And the best part is my soccer game improved. So it helps you with peak performance in so many areas of your life. When you practice Qigong, it actually impacts all areas of your life. So not only from a health perspective, but it also helps with your relationships and also how you see yourself with your connection with the greater universe. We are all one. We are all connected. So this is why I'm passionate about what I do and share. So I'm going to now guide you through the movement practice. And you can do these exercises in sitting or standing posture. I'm going to guide you in standing. So if you want to follow along with me, we're going to begin just warming up the body with a little bit of bouncing. So your feet are about shoulder width apart. Roll the shoulders back and down. And let's begin. Gentle bouncing, so keeping the feet flat, you're not lifting up the heels. And the purpose with the bouncing is to help warm up the body, helps to move the lymph system. It helps to move any stuck or stagnant energy in your body. And as you're bouncing, you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. These are detoxifying breaths that we do at the beginning of our practice. Clear any stale or stagnant air in the lungs. And we create space for more fresh air, more oxygen then to course through our body. Bringing the arms up over the head. If you can't bring the arms up quite overhead, then just go to where it's comfortable for you. So adapt and adjust. And let the wrists flop. We're activating energy points across their wrist crease as we bounce. And remember we talked about how the postures redirect the energy flow. When our arms are up above our head, it actually helps to open up our breathing energy channels, our heart energy channels. So this is a great posture to do. Bouncing with your arms up above your head if you're ever feeling congested or you have sinus issues. This will help to open up the sinuses, clear the congestion in the head. Let's bring the arms down and then just gently rotate right and left. I like to imagine myself in my favorite place while I'm doing my practice. So for me, I teleport myself to Canmore. So take a moment to do that. Bring yourself, teleport yourself to your favorite happy place, wherever that may be, imagining that your bare feet are connected to the ground. And let's slow down the bouncing. Let's take a moment settling in, noticing what you're feeling just after a few minutes of bouncing. Then we're going to activate a few energy points. So Qigong is like acupuncture, but without the use of needles. We're going to activate some points. So underneath the eyes, in the middle of the cheekbones, this is your stomach energy point. Gently tapping here. And we move to the beginning of the eyebrows, bladder energy point. Taking in gentle, deep breaths into the belly. Forming a cup with your hands, you're going to cup the top of the head. Then let's cup the base of the head. We're going to open up, prepare our body. And then with loose fists, you're going to tap your tailbone and sacrum area. So these are our opening exercises. Now let's just bring the arms down by the sides. We get into our beginning Qigong posture. With your feet, imagine your feet sinking 9 feet down into the earth. As you travel up the body, the knees are soft. Your spine is nice and tall. Imagine a string at the top of your head, guiding the crown of your head upward. Creating space in your spine. Gently tucking your chin in, resting your tongue behind your front top teeth. Your tongue acts as a connector switch connecting the front and the back energy channels of your body. Just roll the shoulders back and down, elbows are out and fingers are open. That gentle smile on your face. We now change our breathing pattern. We're breathing in and out through our nose. Bringing our awareness to our lower dantian, that energy center located deep behind our navel, our vitality center. Breathing in through our skin as we collect that healing energy from the universe into our lower dantian. With each exhale, you are releasing and transforming any chi blockages in your body into that light or into butterflies, which leave your body and goes back to the ends of the universe. Deep and gentle breaths in. As you exhale, feel your shoulders sinking down to the ground. As you notice your physical body, you notice your heart, your mind, and your spirit are all right here with you. Feel the connection. Feel the oneness as your body and the universe merges together. As you focus on that light in your lower dantian, set your intention for your practice, telling the universe what you want, whether it be relief of symptoms you might be experiencing, or whether it be to have a deeper connection with spirit, with yourself. Set your intention. Then we say the Spring Forest password in our mind. I am in the universe is in my body, the universe and I combine together. Bringing your right hand, your palm will face your upper chest, and your left hand, your palm will face your navel. Keeping space between your body and your hands. Just take a moment, soften your forehead, your eyes, softening your shoulders, keeping your fingers open. You're going to imagine a transparent column of light inside of your body, from the top of your head to the bottom of your torso. Again, not to worry if you can't see that light. Just say so in your mind. As you continue to take in slow and gentle deep breaths. Moving of yin and yang. We take our top hand and move it out, down and away from the body. The inside hand slowly is moving up the torso. So you create that elliptical pattern with your hands. The slower that you move, the better it allows you to feel. To feel the flow of energy with your hands. Go at your own comfortable pace. Remembering there's no right or wrong way to do this practice. Honor your body. Feel your spine is lengthening, aligning. Feel your heart is opening, expanding. As you bring your awareness to the healing emotion of happiness. Each emotion has a specific frequency and vibration, which affects our organ systems. Happiness helps to support our liver organ system, helping to transform any anger or frustration which can get caught up in our liver system. Bring to mind something in your life that makes you happy. What brings a smile to your face? As you connect with this vibration of happiness, breathing it in through every pore of your skin, and filling yourself up with this happy vibration. Whatever you focus on will magnify. We train ourselves to focus on these positive healing emotions and vibrations, which will impact our energy in a more positive way. Breathing in happiness. With each exhale, you are releasing what is no longer serving you. As we slowly complete the cycle, ending with both palms facing your navel. For females, right hand in and left hand out. Opposite for males, left hand in, right hand out. Breathing into your lower dantian. Exhale and release. We now move to the breathing of the universe. As you inhale, you float your elbows and hands out to the sides, gently bend the knees. As you exhale, bringing your palms closer together, gently straightening your legs, however, never locking the knees. So keep a softness in the joints. Inhale and expand. Exhale. You may feel a compression of energy between your hands. So you coordinate breath with movement. And you move at your own comfortable breathing rate. focusing on the feeling of energy. If you notice your mind starting to wander at any time, you just gently guide it back to your breath and back to this present moment. Bringing your awareness to the healing emotion of joy, helping to support our heart energy system. And joy is happiness for no particular reason. Breathing in joy through every pore of our skin, allowing that joyful vibration to spread through every cell in our body. Breathing in joy. Transforming any chi blockages in your body into beautiful light, which leaves your body upon each exhale, returning back to the ends of the universe. As we slowly complete the cycle, both palms facing each other, breathing into your lower dantian, exhale and release, forming a ball, an energy ball in front of us. We start to move this energy ball, joining of Yin and Yang, keeping the fingers open, alert. You can imagine that your own body's energy is inside of this ball. And your energy is being completely renewed, completely revitalized. Bringing your awareness to the feeling between your hands. You can play with the size of your energy ball. Make it small, like a baseball. Just notice how that feels. Or you can expand the size of your energy ball to the size of a beach volleyball. Continuing to take in those slow and gentle deep breaths. bringing your awareness to the healing emotion of peace, helping to support your stomach energy system. Peace helps to transform worry, anxiety, or overthinking, which affects our stomach system. Connecting to peace. You're surrounded by an abundant supply of peaceful energy around you. Breathe it in through every pore of your skin. With each exhale, releasing what is no longer serving you. Breathing in peace. Feeling so grounded, so peaceful. And we slowly complete the cycle. You can rest your palms against your navel. Females right hand in, left hand out, opposite for males. Breathing into your lower dantian. We now harvest the qi that we've cultivated in our practice. Just visualizing that energy ball filled with light at our lower dantian is now spinning faster and faster. It gets brighter and brighter and smaller, turning into a small, happy energy pill, which is called dawn, which we will tuck in deep behind the navel. As we come out of the meditation, please take 3 gentle, deep breaths. And bring your awareness back to your room, back to your body. And do our soothing exercises to come out of the meditation, rubbing your hands together, then massaging your face in a heart-shaped pattern, so going up the bridge of the nose, across the forehead, down the sides. So each of the points we cup and massage have energy points that correspond to all parts of our body. So your entire body is represented on your face. So we're directing this energy to all parts of the body. And with your fingers, just combing your scalp from front to back, helping you to ground the energy within your body. Forming a cup with your hands and cupping your head front to back. Massaging your ears from top to bottom, getting every little nook and cranny. Cupping your arms from shoulder to wrist, inside and out, so directing energy again to those breathing energy channels, to your heart energy channels. Another side. Cupping down the sides of the torso. This is very good for your lymph system and also for breast health when you're cupping down the sides. Another side. Cupping down the front of the torso from top to bottom. Then interlacing your fingers and massaging the lower abdomen from your right to your left. Just feel the warmth from the palms of your hands penetrating deep into those lower organs. And starting to become aware of the internal dialogue that you have with yourself. You can say thank you from your heart to your body, to your organ systems, for all the hard work they do for us day in, day out. Gently bending forward, we're going to cup the kidney area. If you can't quite reach the kidneys, not to worry, cup a little lower. Then you can massage the kidneys with the backs of your hands. To the palms of the hands, continue to massage. And then you can just hold your kidneys, sending gratitude, thanking your kidneys. With loose fists, tapping your tailbone and sacrum. Your tailbone is considered the gate of vitality, so this is a great exercise to do throughout the day. Just tapping your tailbone 30 seconds to a minute every time you get up from sitting. Fortunately, we live in a sitting society, and that causes a lot of stagnation of energy, of lymph. Our bodies are meant to move, and motion is lotion. So it's important to keep moving, but when we do these slow, gentle movements in Qigong, it's very nourishing and healing. Now just tucking your thumbs in, and with your thumb knuckle, tapping the hip points. It's in the dimple of the buttocks region. This is a good point to tap if you have any cartilage issues in your hips, your knees. If you have sciatica, peripheral neuropathy, this can help that energy flow. There's an important intersection deep within the hips, an energy point, then energy tends to get stuck here. So this will help open channels. And then let's just keep your arms down by your sides. Just for a moment, pause. And scan your body from head to toe. It's noticing how you're feeling now. After a short 20-25 minute practice. Let's end with one final peaceful breath in as we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth with a sigh. Roll the shoulders back and down, and let's connect hands and hearts together. Just thanking each and every one of you for sharing your energy and joining in the practice today. So thank you, everyone. And that is giving you a little taste of the practice of Spring Forest Qigong. And I'd love to hear how people are feeling. So you can use the chat. I think we're going to be opening it up to questions. So you can feel free to either use the chat to ask for questions or unmute yourself and ask. I'd love to hear your experience. I'm curious how many of you, is this the first time you're experiencing Qigong as well? So as I mentioned, my mission and my goal is really to help educate and have people experience a practice so you can taste this exotic fruit, as if you will. So I'm going to move it here to gallery here and see if... Hi, Phil. Thank you. Feeling calm? Okay, I'm just reading some of the chats here. And first time for a few of you. Sometimes you just feel so relaxed, you have no questions. You just want to stay in that relaxed state, which is totally fine as well. All right. So people are just asking if I have a YouTube channel. Yes, and I think we had sent something, a Qigong resource page. And I also offer free pop-up Qigong online. So anyone can join that. It's free of charge. I think I have one next Thursday popping up. So you can join and you'll experience a similar type of practice. Yeah, and Maya's just saying, yeah, if you have a question, you can just raise your virtual hand and ask. And I'd love to just hear from you and see how everything and how you're feeling. Yes, and this is an abridged version, trying to explain an ancient practice in just a short, condensed place, but really it's about the experience and feeling it. So once you've felt how it feels to move your energy, that will really give you a sense of the potential, the possibilities that are available to you. I had a hard time when I first started with sitting meditations, just because I had an incessant chatter in my head. And I love the movement because the movement helped me to kind of sink deeper. So when you do a little bit of a movement practice before you sit and do a sitting meditation, you'll just find that you're able to go deeper.
That was a wonderful presentation, Munira. Thank you so much.
Thank you
We
for
have
that.
one question here, and that is, how do you bounce in the chair?
So adjust and adapt. You can sit in the chair and you can just move your body the way you can, and you can imagine yourself standing and bouncing. So use your visualization, imagine yourself standing, full body bouncing, but you adjust while you're sitting and just move your upper torso and your arms the best way that you can. So good, better, best.
I, I wondered if you could allow, I thought that good, better, or best comment was amazing. We live our life from judging everything as good or bad, right or wrong. And you've recalibrated the starting point. Nothing is bad. We start from good. I thought that was a wonderful way to change insight and how we approach life moment to moment. Could you elaborate on that? I thought that
Absolutely,
was
yeah.
really just so insightful.
I think you're right. Many of us sometimes we're scared to even start something because we're worried that we won't do it correctly, or we're not perfect. And Master Lin has just, in his brilliance, taken everything and brought it to the most fundamental level. That this is a simple practice, and there really is no right or wrong. You can't do this wrong. It's intention, and when you start, you're already starting at that good place. And then the more you practice, you'll learn. And there's all these little nuances to the practice. So it's a lifelong practice. So this is why I love it, because even 15 years or however many years I've been practicing, I'm still learning something. So each time you approach the practice, you're coming in and it's like a new page of the book, new chapter. So you just start from that place, and then you always I find that when you have that approach, and you just are more open. So you don't cloud yourselves with inhibitions or worries that you're not doing something right. And a lot of people, it takes them a while to get used to that idea. So it's like remove any inhibitions about doing this practice wrong, because really you can't.
Wonderful comment. Thank you so much. So you've been at this for how many years, Munira?
Yeah, over 15. I started in 2005 or 2006. I don't
Okay.
remember,
And as
but
you say, you
yeah,
had a lot of problems in the beginning with chronic pain.
yes.
So we have a question. How long did it take for you to feel better? And I guess that addresses the issue of expectation.
Mm.
And how do we create a proper perspective about, well, I've been at this for a week. How come I'm not better?
That's a great question. And everyone is a unique energy being, and everyone will respond in their unique way. Healing is a journey. And the important part here is that we come each time in the practice, and we're just present in the moment. And the less expectations you have, actually, the better. Because when you have expectation, it actually closes the channels. So you just arrive and you're curious, what's going to show up today? With my personal journey, it was a couple of months. I don't even remember. I was practicing every day for about a half an hour, and it was a couple of months period of time where I noticed, like, oh my gosh, my back's not hurting me anymore, my neck's not bothering me anymore. And that just motivated me, and I kept going at it. Now I know other people who have chronic pain, and it takes them longer to see and experience whatever they need to experience. But the interesting thing is, every time you practice, you're transforming chi blockages. And sometimes you don't even notice the changes. So you might be in there because you're approaching this because you have pain and you want to get rid of the pain. But when you start to practice, you start to notice your pain is still there, but your energy levels are better. Or your nose stops leaking. Or that you feel like you have a better connection with your family. So there's all these things, all this healing that is happening, so many different layers and levels. And the pain, I mean, that's why you're there, but all these other things are clearing, and your chronic pain may take a little bit longer, but just enjoy the journey and the process, and just be, if you stay with a committed practice, even if it's 10 minutes a day, you'll just start to notice all these beautiful things. You just open yourself up. And I love, when you talk about perspective, That was a big shift for me. And there's that great saying by the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So it really shifted my perspective on how I was approaching life. I tended to have I was pretty critical. I was critical of myself. I was a perfectionist. I had all these labels of things of being, and I know that contributed to what I was experiencing. So I learned how, when I started practicing, you learn to let things go. You don't take things so seriously. You open yourself up to other possibilities. So there's just, I can't say enough about what this practice, all the things that the practice has to offer, but everybody just remember you're all on your own unique journey. So there's no prescription. There's no, if you practice this for this many days and this will clear. It's all individual, but just be aware, and I encourage people to start a Qigong journal. Just start to notice the shifts that are happening in your life. Perhaps you're not noticing that your energy is better, or your emotions are more balanced. You're not having road rage, or you're not getting irritated. So all these things are signs of your energy being balanced.
So could you, and again, you've really addressed this question already to a degree, but just to make it a little bit more formal for individuals who want to start a Qigong practice. You betcha, an hour every day, probably the best. But what is realistic for people to start a practice? How often? How long? When should they start to increase the frequency and the duration? Can you give some sort of rough guidelines for people to be able to establish a practice?
Sure. I have a little 10-minute little practice on that resource page, and that's what I would suggest. Start off with 10 minutes, because that's doable, right? It's sustainable. And what that would involve is you would just start off bouncing. You could start off warming up the body, and then that way you're warming up and then getting prepared. And then you can even just do one or two of the movements. You don't need to do, it's not a series, or it's not rigid in terms of you have to do all these specific exercises in a specific order. You might like one of the exercises I showed you today, and you might do that for a few minutes. So 2, 3, 4 minutes. And then you just end the meditation with the harvesting. Seeing that ball roll, spin, and tuck it in your navel, massage your face, your ears, and voila, there's your practice. It can be that simple. And then when you start to do that, what you'll start to notice is that your body will crave the exercise, and you will actually start to feel like you can go deeper. So 10 minutes will start to become 15 or 20 minutes, and you won't even realize it, because when you're in the moment, there's no sense of time or space. And then you start to prioritize, and actually you carve time out because it makes you feel so good when you do the practice. So you're right, when you have an unrealistic expectation, like, oh, you have to practice an hour a day before you start to see results, people aren't even going to start. I think when people first start with those 10 minutes and they start to feel the results they get, even with those 10 minutes of practice, then they will start to bring the practice and have it work, and allow the practice to meet them where they're at, and then start to incorporate it into their life. And then in the end, Qigong is not just about a practice that we do, it's a way that we live our life. Your practice is what you'll find is your heart starts to open. You start to have a deeper connection because we are all connected. And you start to see life in a very different way, in a much healthier and pleasant and joyful way.
There's a lot of, thank you, Munira. There's a lot of questions about where can I find the info for your pop-up class?
Right on my website. So if you go munirajiwa.ca, you'll see the first picture there is Pop-Up Qigong. Join the Pop-Up Qigong. So if you click and register there, then each time I offer a pop-up, you'll just get an email invitation with a Zoom link. So it's done on Zoom. And anyone can attend, regardless of whether they've experienced Qigong or not. Because as you see, the practice is quite simple. And I address it in a way that everyone that attends will get benefit from it.
We have a comment about this was a tingling experience, which is great. There's a question here about great Zoom exercise tonight. First time on Zoom chat. I'm still struggling to get more out of your program.
Yeah, and I know Derek, he attends one of my other classes. So Derek, it's just as you start to come, I know you prefer the in-person. So it's about learning, and the introductory series at Wellspring. So I do teach out of Wellspring as well. Wellspring Calgary. So it's a nonprofit organization for those who have cancer or their caregivers. So you can also check out wellspringcalgary.ca. It's an 8-week program where I build on the levels. So it's an introductory series, and I give a little bit more education, and we do the practice, and each week builds upon each other. I also offer workshops, so training workshops, if you want to go even more in depth. But what I would suggest for everyone is just start. Start with the pop-ups, start with a 10-minute, follow the YouTube, and then just build from there, because it's just, it's an exciting journey.
Is your, whoops, we just moved it, here it is. Is the sequence of the practice movements always the same or varied?
They're varied. So you can do like the warm-up, just the bouncing, and then you can pick whichever movement you like. So there is the 5-element healing movements, which are 5 movements that we do. We incorporate the emotions, and that's about a half an hour practice. But you can choose, if you're limited in time, you can just pick 1 movement, 2 movements. And again, there's no right or wrong. You just go with feel. You're activating your body's intelligence. Your body knows best. You sometimes are craving a certain movement, and just work with that. So trust your instincts. Your body knows best. So it really keeps things flexible and open.
You talked about energy breathing, Munira, which was very helpful. Could you make, and so again, just to help people know how to do the energy breathing more effectively,
Mm-hmm.
can you comment on why you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose rather than your mouth? And we know that exhalation is even more relaxing than inhalation. Is there a preferential exhalation component or not in energy breathing?
So with the energy breathing, it's in and out through the nose, and the purpose is to help circulate that energy within us, that chi. Because if you breathe in through the nose and then out through your mouth, you're releasing some of that chi. So it's just during the practice that we do the in and out through the nose. And you're right, when we talk about the exhalation and allowing that exhalation to be longer, when we do the bouncing at the beginning, that's what we're doing. We're inhaling through the nose, out through the mouth, and that exhalation, we learn to just extend that exhalation. But one thing I didn't cover today was chanting. When we do chanting, and you inhale, you might be inhaling just for a couple of breaths, but then the exhalation can be 5, 10 breaths long. So then you are really working on that and helping to, I find the chanting very powerful, and that's something I do bring up in the pop-up classes. But it is really working with that in through the nose, out through the mouth. Because when you're chanting, obviously you can't keep the breath in. It's exhaling, and you're chanting a sound, but it's very soothing, very healing.
They talk about active and passive Qigong, and I think in your practice tonight, we did some of that. Could you just clarify the distinction between that and sort of say, like, what would an active practice be of Qigong versus a more passive practice?
Sure. So we went through a moving meditation, which is considered the active exercises. And remember, we talked about yin and yang. So yang is something that's more physical, active, fiery. So that is a yang component of our practice, the physical movement practice. Then the yin component, which is the more quiet, the spiritual, the introspective, is our sitting meditations. So we didn't do a sitting meditation today, but a guided seated meditation is something that that makes a full practice then when you start to go deeper into this. So it's best to have both. Master Lin recommends, actually, if you have a lot of physical issues, you might spend more time with the physical movements to move that chi. So I actually really didn't do much of the sitting meditations the first few months. I really solely focused on the physical movements. But you want balance. So then eventually, when you clear the blockages, your energy is flowing well, and you don't have symptoms anymore, you continue to do some of the active, but then you may do longer sitting meditations. And then you're going into a different vibration. It helps you connect even deeper spiritually. So whatever faith practice that you have, because this is not a religious practice, but it is a spiritual practice. You'll just find you connect at a deeper level even with whatever spiritual practices you have. So that's considered the yin component.
Okay. So that would be like our traditional breath-focused meditation?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we had a lot of people commenting on how much they enjoyed the exercises and the practice. Thank you, Munira. Um, do you wear shoes when you do Qigong, or should you not?
Best is to do it outside in nature with bare feet. So if you go to China, you'll see millions of people practicing outside in the parks, right? So if it's amenable to you and it's available, like I'll sometimes in the summertime just go out my backyard with my bare feet. You're earthing, you're connecting with the earth. But yes, you can. If people have issues with their feet and they need to, you can wear shoes. So again, trust what feels good for you. So again, using that good, better, best philosophy. Best is bare feet connected to the ground. And then if you need those shoes, go ahead and do whatever feels right for you. You'll eventually find that you may just intuitively feel like you need to take off your shoes. So you start to just follow your body's wisdom.
You talked about this third component of the practice of Qigong, which is visualization.
Yes.
So can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Are there set visualizations? Can people create their own visualizations? Do you visualize the trapped energy moving? So could you elaborate a bit more on how people can actually do the visualization component of the
Yeah.
practice?
Yeah, so when we do the energy breathing, for example, we're visualizing that we're breathing in light, but when you exhale, you can use your own visualization that works for you, but you imagine that extra energy in your body. It's not negative energy, it's not bad energy, it's just extra. It's out of balance in your body. Visualize it as light or as butterflies. Some people see dragonflies, like whatever visual comes to mind for you, but the idea is you're just helping to release it back to the universe where it wants to be. It doesn't want to be trapped in your body anymore. You're helping to guide it out. So from a visualization perspective, a lot of the visualizations involve light. So we'll talk about, that column of light. And when we imagine that column of light, like I wasn't a very visual person when I first started. I was a kinesthetic person. So I could actually feel the energy. I felt this buzzing and stuff, and I didn't know what that was, but it intrigued me. It kept me going. But this column of light, I was like, I don't see this column, but you trust. You say it, it's there. And that column of light, we, for many traditions, they talk about healing happens in the light. So with Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, a lot of them talk about how healing happens in the light. And in Spring Forest Qigong, we learn to message. We actually send a message in the light. So channels open, completely healed, or pain is gone. So you're helping to direct that energy, but a lot of the healing is happening in that visual of light. When you start to practice more Qigong, you'll eventually start to see that light internally. And there is no right or wrong with the visuals. There are set visuals that we will start off with, like we always visualize that light, like a soft moonlight in the lower dantian, that column of light. And then other things, people will start to have their own visuals come. So they'll get their own insights. So when you open stuff up within you, it's just amazing the creativity that flows and the visualizations that you have. I know some people have said that, when they do the joining of Yin and Yang, they've seen like all these beautiful rainbow colors inside their ball. And I'm like, I don't see any rainbows, but I'm going to trust whatever is your visualization is meant for you.
And there's a definite, as you said, kinesthetic, somatic, body felt sense as you do the practice. You can actually feel energy being released.
You can feel it. You can feel your energy being activated and energy channels start to open. And so, in the beginning, if you're not feeling much, not to worry. Again, just keep working with it, because the secret sauce of Qigong is to feel it. So we're just working on feeling. And initially, you might just focus on the tips of your fingers and just notice, are you feeling a little bit of tingling or heat? And the sensations will start to get even more profound for you as you start to work with the practice regularly. I've had many people who in the beginning didn't feel much, but the more they practiced, excuse me, just turning off my speaker here. The more they practiced, the more they would tune into that feeling, that sensation.
And I'm just seeing if there's any more questions here. And as one practices and releases the energy, one begins to notice a difference in their emotional state. Their mind's quiet, they have a sense of more positivity.
Absolutely. I think that was the first thing I noticed. When I first started doing, and I really like this movement, the moving of yin and yang, I didn't know at that time that emotions were the number one cause of energy blockages, right? I just did this because it felt good. So I continued on with the practice. But the first thing I really started to notice is I actually started to feel happier. I was feeling elated when I'd practiced. And I didn't remember because I had been in a really low energy for such a long time that it just felt good. I felt like, when you put an Alka-Seltzer tablet in water and it fizzes and bubbles, that's what it felt like was happening inside of me. I just felt like this fizzing and bubbling of like happiness, energy, kind of just pervading my entire being. It was such an amazing experience. And the more people practice, again, yes, it'll be the emotions that you'll really start to notice. You don't get as flustered, you're much more calmer. And when you do your own practice and you're coming from that place of calmness, there's a ripple effect. It totally impacts your environment and your family. And an interesting thing that I noticed, when I started to practice and I started to see my kids in a very different way, started to connect with them, but they also stopped getting sick. They were going to preschool and daycare, and they used to catch everything. They'd come home and they'd bring it, and of course I would catch everything from them. And then when I started practicing, I started noticing my immune system started to strengthen. I wasn't getting all these colds and flus, and they also weren't getting it. So there was like this ripple effect that as I raised my vibration, I did my own work, it was having a positive impact on my environment and my family directly.
Isn't that interesting? Because you can explain this deeper, that when you're dealing with a master, you are the master to your kids. There's a transmission of energy to the people you deal with. Is that part of Qigong, Munira?
Well, there's definitely, it's called the chi field. So it's the area where your energy reaches, and you expand your chi field. So you almost have like this calming effect. You walk into a room when you practice, and everybody in the room will feel that.
Mm.
It's just like, if you've ever been into a room of people that are meditating, you can just feel that energy. That's that chi field that's created. Have you ever walked into a room of people who are arguing or fighting?
Mm.
There's a difference. You can feel it. So absolutely, this is why it's so important that we do our own work. Sometimes I remember I used to try and want to fix my kids, so I'd take them to all these doctors and specialists and things, trying to help them with all their ailments that they had. But all I really had to do was work on myself, and that had a more positive impact, right? And it was just interesting. And so the more I practiced, the more I just realized it's more about me working on myself, and that's going to have a more positive and healing effect on my family and the entire world, actually.
Wonderful. And should it be quiet when you do Qigong? What about having relaxing music on? So,
Yeah. So I had some music on, yeah. And it's best to have music that doesn't have words. So if you have nature music, or classical or something that appeals to you, that's calming, absolutely, you can do that. Or you can do it in, again, no right or wrong. I typically use one of Master Lin's meditation CDs. It's called Back into the Universe. He created it when he was in meditation. It came to him. So when you connect with a piece of music that is very calming for you, it creates a conditioning response, especially if you practice with that same music regularly. It's a conditioning response, like almost like a Pavlovian response, so that you hear that music and immediately your body and your cells kind of know, I'm getting ready for my Qigong practice.
Munira, this has been an absolutely wonderful evening, and many comments in the chat about their appreciation for you teaching Qigong. So I wondered if you could close the evening with a summary of some important points people can take home. And if people want to connect with you, what would be the best way to do this? I mean, can you maybe outline some future classes that you have coming up? Is this the best way for people to get introduced to Qigong?
Yeah, thank you, Phil. So yeah, the best way is on my website, sign up for a pop-up. Join me in the pop-up, and you can email me there if you have any other questions. I'd love to hear even from you how you sleep tonight. So you can just send me an email, and you can connect with the practice that way. I do offer weekly online classes as well, and as I mentioned, I do teach out of Wellspring, Calgary as well, and we'll be offering some more in person and sometimes some outdoor classes in the summer. But if I had to give a synopsis, number one, I would just start off with number one, there's no right or wrong. Remember good, better, and best. And start off simple. So the simplest thing, you know, the way you practice Qigong, smile. You can bounce. Move that lymph, move your body gently, and then allow yourself to just be aware of your body, any tension you're holding, release it, and then just pick one movement. So a movement practice that will help you just move that chi. And it's amazing, even I said 10 minutes, but even 5 minutes is incredible how much benefit you'll get with that. The breathing, I would really highly recommend start to incorporate that throughout your day, because you're going to start to have a cumulative effect of the benefits of energy breathing. So anytime you're driving, can you imagine if everyone in Calgary was practicing their energy breathing when they're driving? It'll be so much more calmer, and it's amazing how you can just be more at peace. But when you're driving, we have lots of opportunities where we're waiting. Practice your energy breathing. So you can't ever say that you don't have time to practice. Now this is something, again, you integrate it into your day-to-day. Small little bits, cumulative effect. And enjoy and have fun, because this is really, it's not a serious practice. It's seriously fun. So enjoy it, and just take it with that grain of salt, and in terms of knowing that you are a powerful healer for yourself. So incorporate the practice the way that works for you. Allow the practice to meet you where you're at. And I really do look forward to hearing from people and getting feedback on how they sleep, and how they notice whatever shifts and changes that they notice in their life.
Munira, what a wonderful evening. What a wonderful presentation. A lot of very practical, effective tools that people can take home, and hopefully they will join you as an ongoing practice for Qigong. And we look forward to having you present again. A year went by way too fast, and we need to have you present more often. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, for allowing me to share the practice with everyone. So I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I'd just like to let everybody know that June 2nd, our next presentation, Life-Threatening Illness as a Catalyst to Live Your Best Life by Linda Carlson. And I would look at this as an opportunity, not in terms of just life-threatening illness, but as perhaps significant suffering or trauma or issues that you experience in your life, and how to use mindfulness as a tool to overcome these difficulties. Again, remember June 4th, the WTM is going to have a special half-day Zoom retreat, and I would highly recommend that you come. It's a great way to hear the essential aspects of mindfulness and how you can use them in your life to deal with your anxiety. And one last comment, the WTM is a not-for-profit organization. None of our speakers, none of our organizers receive any money for what they have to offer. And we've realized that as we've gone to the Zoom format, that it has become way more expensive for our group than we appreciated, in terms of we now have a tech person who has to send out the notices, who takes the videos and puts them on the website, who creates the posters. So there is a lot more expense that we have realized for running the WTM. And we have a goal to continue offering this freely to everyone. If you think in your heart that these sessions have been of value, then please go to our WTM home website and offer whatever you feel you can, or you feel is appropriate, $5 more, whatever you can offer. And that would truly be appreciated and allow us to continue to offer these programs. So we look forward to seeing you again. And with that, I close my part of the program, and I'd like just to turn this back to Maya to close the evening.